Are you calmed down from that pregnancy scare yet?
Yeah, ever since I said goodbye to poor fitting condom and hello to the best protection, comfort, and confidence with Caliber condom. With 6 sizes, they got the perfect fit for a better sensation and more enjoyable experience.
So why Caliber?
6 sizes available.
Small to 3XL.
Better fit, better experience.
More comfort, enhanced sensation, and peace of mind.
FDA cleared.
98% effective against breaks and slips with simple, safe ingredients.
Skin safe.
Odorless, clear, and made with natural rubber latex and medical-grade silicone lube.
They offer Find Your Size Sampler.
Get 2 condoms of each size, plus a $25 gift card for your next purchase.
Discreet shipping.
They keep it private, always.
Money and a money-back guarantee.
100% satisfaction with no questions asked.
Caliber condoms are 5-time tested for safety, offering you a smooth, comfortable fit that boosts your confidence in the bedroom. They have a 4.8 star rating. They're trusted for a reason.
Ready for the best fit? Take the guesswork out of condom shopping and find your perfect size today. Order your Find Your Size sampler now at www.caliberbrand.com/cocktails to get your $25 gift card off your next purchase.
Don't wait. Your best fit is just a click away.
Welcome, fellow lushes. Come on in, pull up a bar stool, and enjoy some cocktails with Dimples and the Beard.
If you could take a spaceship anywhere.
Are you ready? Should I open the tavern quick?
I think this question is a tavern question. If you could take a spaceship anywhere, where would you go?
The Milky Way.
I think we're in the Milky Way. Aren't we?
I like Milky Ways. Just had one the other day.
Good. Have you had the Milky Way with cookie dough?
No.
Or the dark chocolate Milky Way?
Yeah.
Are you a dark chocolate guy?
Sometimes, not all the time.
I love dark chocolate.
If I could take a spaceship anywhere,
they say.
They do.
They.
Who's they?
I don't know.
If I could take a spaceship anywhere.
They never told me.
Well,
come on, it's an obvious answer. I would take a spaceship straight to Uranus, buddy. Welcome back to another episode of Cocktails with Dimples and the Beard.
That whole thing, just so you could say that.
Just so I could say that. No, I honestly wasn't thinking of that until all of a sudden I was like, don't answer. I got a really funny idea.
Well, that was the obvious, so
who doesn't like a Uranus joke?
That's the Star Trek joke, because that's where the Klingons are.
In Uranus? Yeah. Or on Uranus? In Uranus? It would be on, in, above, around, through.
It would be everywhere. Where? Well, we know you want to go.
What?
I want black hole.
I want.
That's where I want to go. What's wrong?
All
with
right.
That? What's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing dirty or fun you could say about that.
It's pretty sad for me at this point in my life to know that I'm never going to get to a black hole. I have no chance of getting to a black hole ever. You still have a chance. You could get to a black hole.
You do too.
I don't think I do.
I mean, I'm assuming right now.
I've retired my rocket ship.
Right, but what if the retiree passes, or the other passes? Then you would give an opportunity. Not that I'm saying it's worth it. I'm just saying things can happen.
Then I would be traveling to all sorts of black holes. I would pay as much as I had to pay to travel to black holes. I've always wanted to go to a black hole, more so than a tan hole.
Well, which direction is that? The what? Which direction is the tan? The black hole is
okay.
That way.
Yep.
That way.
In the Milky Way for sure.
So never say never.
The interesting introductions we give to these. We don't have a comedian on. This is not a haha funny guest. This is,
So what you're saying, being a spiritual lady that she is, we should ask her that question.
Has she ever gotten to the black hole?
Guess I was thinking more of the spaceship one.
Oh, but the spiritual black hole. No, we are talking tonight. We are talking to Clementine Moss,
Sorry, Clementine. We apologize for.
We can't help it. We're immature and childish, and we got to get that out before we can do the real stuff. Imagine if we tried to do the interview before we got that out. The whole time I'd be thinking of Uranus jokes. How am I going to sneak in a Uranus? Get it?
You would.
Joke. Sneak in Uranus joke.
Would you ask the guest?
Mm,
Would you say
the best time to sneak in a Uranus joke?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe. If it was a comedian, yes.
What about
But tonight we have a musician, author,
spiritual coach,
thank you,
counselor,
who is one of the founding members of the Led Zeppelin tribute band, all female tribute band, Zepparella. So
the drummer, which is taking on. I was talking about that earlier.
Taking on a role, man.
Well, they all are, because of all the bands, they are one of the all of them are great musicians on their own.
Okay, I have to ask a question.
Okay, who's the bass player? Why did I know that?
Who was Led Zeppelin's bass player?
How did I know you were going to ask that?
Is he? Should I know the name?
Well, he is phenomenal, but yeah. You want to know beforehand?
Walter Cheeseburger? I don't know. No, that's a guy who sings around Walt Hamburger.
I got his record over there.
Walt Hamburger. I don't know why that came to me. Anyway, who's the bass player of Led Zeppelin?
John Paul Jones.
Oh yes, I should know that. Jesus Christ. So yeah, they were all.
I mean, individually amazing.
Yeah. Unlike that band you got on your shirt.
So everybody, as I was going to say, they're right below
the Who.
The Who, as far as musicians and talent.
And in the real world, though, in the only
but not as good as REM.
And the only metric that actually matters, record sales, winning. Who's number one, Zeppelin or the Who?
In record sales?
Yes.
Well, I will. Here's what I'm going to say. We can look it up.
Fernando, get on that.
Look it up.
Fernando's
whatever the gap is, I'll just go buy more records.
You better hope it's close. You better hope it's close.
It's not. Zeppelin's got like 50 million sold, and Who's probably got like 20, 35 million. Is my guess. Somewhere in there.
Sure.
There's a little bit of gap.
Sure. But maybe the Who sold theirs for more, so they made more money off of it.
There you go.
So, I mean, that's the thing. If you sell 1 million these days, it's worth 5 million from 20 years ago.
Right.
I mean, at least in money. So, but then again, you spend more to make it now. So in profit, this is getting confusing.
Deep.
All right, let's go into something not deep like black holes.
So I think we've had this conversation. We have all our opinions about.
You're just going to blow right over that fantastic black hole joke.
We were trying to move on from black hole jokes.
Perfect timing.
I was trying to get away from black holes. If you guys want to hear more about black holes, just go ahead and listen and subscribe. Go to YouTube and join YouTube and get a free t-shirt. Share with your friends. Go to Rumble. We are on Rumble. Go there. Look at it. We're everywhere you need to be. Like, subscribe, and share with your enemies and friends. But now that I got that out, we just can't keep a pretty lady waiting.
That's right. So without further ado, Clementine Moss.
Hi, how's it going?
Great. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I was listening to the podcast today. I was like, I don't know if I'm the right guest for you guys.
No.
We can, if you have second thoughts about that, like,
absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Our whole point of doing this and start was to talk to interesting people and we don't get enough musicians. We've had a few musicians on, and but we don't get enough. We love live music, and obviously you're more than just a musician, but that's what first drew us to you was, you're a founding member of Zepparella, the tribute band to Led Zeppelin, and we're both big Led Zeppelin fans. So
awesome. Okay, great. Yeah. If you're down, I'm down.
Absolutely.
I was like, I feel like I'm kind of boring for your podcast. You guys are a lot of fun. So
Well, we do, and we're hoping to have fun tonight, and we just learn about your journey, and I think it's going to be some great stories on how you got to where you are today. Now,
All right.
yes, music,
All right.
music, and your spiritual
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
I'll say one thing. I think, we've watched some of your podcasts. I think we'll probably talk more music than the meditation. I've seen a lot of podcasts where you deal with the
Yeah.
meditation, and
Right.
whereas for us, we're more on the music side, but we've had other
Yeah.
spiritual coaches
Coaches.
and life coaches and stuff on as well. So
Okay. Okay.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. Great. Great. Good.
So bring it on. So have you always been spiritual?
We're gonna go with most of the music, but
Let's get that out of the way. I don't mean it that way.
you can tell we prepare very well for these things.
Where are you guys, by the way? Where are you located?
We're in Neenah, Wisconsin.
Oh, in Wisconsin. Oh,
Which is
that's neat. I have family in Wisconsin, so that's
Okay,
great.
we're close to Green
Yeah.
Bay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I was in Green Bay not too long ago.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
I went on a little walkabout with my mom was born in Merrill, and my sister and I went back, and we have a family member who went back to find, where our ancestors kind of went in, in
okay.
the early 1800s, and they had all of the addresses and everything of where everybody lived. So we kind of did this drive through Wisconsin, seeing where my family was from. So
Oh,
that was
that would
really
be
neat.
awesome.
It was awesome.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, I have a lot of family that was up in like the Eau Claire, Augustus area. So
Uh-huh.
kind of up that way. Yeah. So I know like I can go up that way too and go back and find some old tombstones and stuff like that. It's cool.
Yeah, I know. It's really neat. It's
Yeah.
really neat.
And
Yeah.
you're in New York right now?
No, I'm in San Francisco.
San Francisco. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I've
You
lived
were
here
so
for like
close.
I was
20.
right down the
I
road.
started in New York. Yeah, I started my journey started in New York, and then I came here.
That was my leeway. I asked about her start of her journey. We're
There
getting
you go.
back to it.
I know.
New York.
You do you.
It's really funny.
Yeah. So
Um,
yeah, I started with that because she wasn't always into music. So
Yeah.
yeah,
where did the
so
spiritual start?
yeah, it's funny because music and the meditation stuff really started around the same time when
Hmm,
I lived in New York City. I moved there when I was 21 from California after I graduated from college, and I moved to New York City. And my intention was to be a writer,
Okay.
and it wasn't happening for me. I felt like I didn't have anything to say, like I hadn't really lived yet, And I
Okay.
had musicians around my orbit, and I took a drum lesson when I was 27 years old, and that just kind of started this life that I've lived now for many years. And around the same time, I went to my first 10-day silent meditation retreat.
Okay.
wow.
And so I really saw these two things for a long time. I saw them as two separate parallel paths that I was taking in my life. But now I see how much they're connected. The contemplative practice and kind of devoting yourself to something like music, which is has a lot of its real contemplative aspects to it. So yeah,
Absolutely.
it was
So
all about the same time.
we
Yeah.
recently had a comedian on, Chase O'Donnell, who just did her first 10-day silence retreat. And I can't remember how does it pronounce?
Vipassana,
Vipassana.
Vipassana.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So she told us all about that. So how was have you done it more than once? And how were
Yeah,
your
I've done
experiences with it?
yeah, I've done it many times.
Okay.
And yeah, that first one was just completely transformative,
Okay.
I had one of those real big, kind of opening experiences that they talk about, and it kind of set me on the path of seeking, I think. And but that meditation practice, Vipassana, it has been kind of a constant through my
Okay.
whole journey, even though I've gone in a lot of different directions as far as just kind of seeking and trying to figure out, what felt like the truth for me. But
Yeah.
yeah, those retreats, they're such a valuable gift to humanity. They're dead. Um, uh, they're really just there for people to be able to have 10 days to devote to listening to what's going on inside. And, it's
Yeah.
all donation only, which is really phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what she said, which is weird for a lot of people to believe that
Right.
it's worth, you get what you pay for. Well, I'm paying nothing,
Right.
but
Nothing's
Yeah.
free in this world, right?
right, nothing, right, right. So
Yeah.
that is
Yeah.
amazing, and that they're still doing it today. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's like I think there's got to be, close to 1,000 places around the world,
Yeah.
that do it. And I think that, the reason that it can survive that way is because it's such a benefit to people that when they come out of there, it becomes this kind of mission for people to want to offer that to other people.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I think that, because all of the people who work there are volunteers, right? So they do that because they've gotten so much out of it that they go back and help.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you always go back
Yeah.
to the same, or do you try to go to different states or even out of the country for them?
Yeah, I wish I could go to a different one every time. I've gone to the one in Western Massachusetts, one right outside of Dallas, and then 3 times I've been to the one in Yosemite in
Oh, wow.
California. Yeah.
I bet that's amazing.
They're all amazing in their own way. They're
Yeah.
really in beautiful places.
I, I
They feel good. Yeah.
I had to Google it today because it was such a weird coincidence when I heard that you had done this and we had just talked to somebody that had done it. And
Yeah.
there's actually one in Wisconsin. It's out
Oh,
over on the west side of Wisconsin. So I think the
Uh-huh.
hardest part for most people has got to be how do you being able to dedicate 10 days to it. Like,
right.
so many of us are in the rat race where to try and get 10 days off away from everybody and work and all this.
Family.
How do you pull that
I
off?
know. I know that really is and they really take that seriously, and when people are there, that's why, all of the food is, taken care of, all, like everything, because you're not speaking. No, and nobody's really communicating. It's not like hand gestures or anything. The people taking care of everybody are really taking care,
Yeah.
and because they recognize how much people have given up, sacrificed to be
Yeah.
there for such a long period of time. And actually, I went to one in Sonoma, and it was this really cool place. It wasn't a center, it was a place that they kind of that they leased out to do it. And it had been a big camp, I think, of some kind. And so you stayed in these cabins that were about a quarter mile from the meditations, like where you meditated and then where you ate.
Okay.
And the time for 9 days, it was torrential rain. And of course, I had gotten there with no rain gear at all. And so
Oh.
they had thought to have trash bags so I could put a trash bag over me to walk that quarter mile to, back and forth. And, they had everything, like they had set up a whole area where everybody could dry their socks, because I didn't have rain boots or anything. And, you know, um, and so, the first time I went, there was a blizzard and all the power went out. And, there were just signs all over, like to flush the toilet, dump this bucket of water into the toilet, like all of these ways that we had to deal with this thing. But it wasn't disrupted in any way. And so,
Wow.
I really love that they really do value people's time that way. And like, wow, you've taken this time out of your life. The show is going to go on,
Yeah, for
So I
sure. For
really love
sure.
that about it. Yeah.
How
Okay.
how many people
Now you,
screw how many people screw up in the first day and accidentally say like thank you to somebody who's out or something?
yeah,
Does that
that
happen?
happens. That
Okay.
happens. The last one I went to, these two young women, it's amazing to me that such young people go, 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds. I
Hmm.
couldn't have done that at that age, I think.
No.
And these two girls, they just got into this like giggling thing, like one of them must have looked at the other one like a particular way in the meditation hall, and they just lost it, and that was really funny. My best friend has been to I think probably 20 at least, and
Oh,
she served quite a few of them, and she was the like kind of the manager of one. She went and she'd been to so many that they kind of put her in this position where she was dealing with the people who kind of lost it when they were there, this
uh,
like, and they keep track of where everybody is in this one day this man was missing and they couldn't find him, and they went out and he was curled up in the back seat of his car on his cell phone. And she said that she and the other person she was with just kind of tapped on the glass, and they all looked at each other and just burst into hysterical laughing, because he was like, he just had this little meltdown for a minute, and she's like, it's not like we're keeping him there, he could leave at any time, but he just was being like his like naughty self or
Little
something. And
sneaky kid.
yeah, and he ended up staying, for the rest of the time. He just had this kind of breakdown in the middle of it.
So they don't kick you out for that. They're not like, all right, you're done.
Hopefully they're forgiving.
Yeah.
But I would imagine there are people that do leave and just
I'm
not
sure
for
there
me
are.
or what,
Yeah.
but
I'm sure there are, because it's hard. I mean, when you're not talking, when you're not communicating, your internal voice becomes one big megaphone.
Yeah.
Right. And you're sitting and you're trying not to move, and you're sitting for like 9-10 hours a day in meditation.
can't
And
get that. I cannot comprehend that.
Yeah, stuff is coming up, and the way that I experience it is it's through pain in your body. A lot of the times, like, I'll be sitting and I'll just have this excruciating pain, like in my hips or whatever, no matter what I do, no matter how, and I'll get into this thing where I'm fidgeting and I'm trying different ways to sit, and I'm doing all this stuff to try to sit. And I realize that all of that angst I'm going through is because something in my psyche is letting go. And it's not like I'm thinking, oh, when I was 16, I was bullied and that's where it's going. Sometimes you fixate on that stuff, but most of the time, it's just moving. Something's moving through you. Your experience sits in your body. We all know this. And when you sit in meditation, it's like there's nothing for you to do but let it come through. And it can be really painful, mentally, emotionally, physically. And that's the difficult stuff. The not speaking, the not communicating, that becomes you become in this little silo, and that's a real gift, because we don't ever get to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So after 10 days, do you feel like, oh, I want to keep going? Oh, bummer, I have to go home,
I have to talk.
or are you ready? Yeah.
I think, let's see, at the end of 10 days, I'm ready to go.
Okay.
Yeah, I am ready to go. And because, it's, by that time, by the 7th day, this thing happened, and this happens, I think, pretty regularly for most people. And it definitely happened to me every single time. The 6th day was the most difficult. And there are people who are like really breaking down, crying, and for some reason at 6 days has some kind of marker where some deep stuff starts coming up. And then 7th and 8th day is when your body, because the meditation that you're doing is you're observing sensation in the body, rather than counting the breath, you're observing sensation. And so your body, you become hyper aware of your body, as you just keep, bringing your mind up and down every little bit of your body. And by the 7th or 8th day, I feel like I'm vibrating. I feel like I'm completely alive, like everything is completely alive.
Okay.
And so by the 9th day, it's like a feeling of elation, like everything that I've let go of, all of the work that I've done, all of the connection to like the big picture of things, all of my appreciation for the things in my life, the intense gratitude for the people who have been taking care of us. And I'm floating. It's like a feeling of floating, and like a cloud nine kind of feeling. And then of course, like, when my husband picks me up, I'm just like, blah, 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 blah. I can't stop talking.
you leave with the stipulation, you better be ready for a lot of talk when I get home. I'm giving you 10 days. Be ready.
Well, I guess I was thinking, is it the first time he picked you up, and after that he's like, ask a friend to pick you up?
Yeah. I know, right?
No, well, that's nice.
So do you go into it with intention, with a game plan of kind of anything you're looking, or do you just go in and whatever comes?
Well, I haven't, let's see, I can't remember I probably was, the last one I went to was probably maybe 7 years ago. So I definitely am due. And I have had this thing will kind of rise up in me like, oh gosh, this longing to go and do it.
Okay.
Like you said, it's really hard to find those 10 days. And so
Yeah.
I have been having a harder time to find that time.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking maybe of trying to make it work coming up in the next year, but we'll see about that. But I get a feeling of I have had a feeling of kind of this build up, like I need that time. I need that time with myself. I need that release almost.
Yeah.
Even though I know, I will say that it is pretty much the most difficult thing I've ever been through. I mean, it really is. You
Yeah.
you really do hit that dark night of the soul,
Yeah.
in it.
Is it
Um,
something you would like recommend to just anybody, or does it take the right kind of person to be able to do this?
I think everybody can do it.
Okay.
But I do think that that somebody's intention. I mean, I do think that they try to kind of they have certain questions that you answer so that they know that you're kind of ready to do it, that you have some kind of intention
Okay.
to understand yourself in that way. I think for people who are really struggling with mental illness, probably not a good idea,
Yeah.
I was going to ask that if what kind of person would probably benefit the most. And obviously there's the opposite that shouldn't. Yeah, that's just interesting.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think, yeah, but I think that all of us have within us that, that place that ultimately is okay, that is good and peaceful,
Yeah.
and we lose sight of that. And there's a lot of suffering in the world because people are looking externally for that place. But to be pointed to where it is within us is a great gift, because then we're able to be less reactive with what's happening around us and kind of weather the storm of life. Always being able to reconnect to that place that's okay, that gets us through things.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's a wonderful thing, and they've done a lot of work in prisons, bringing Vipassana into prisons, and it's been very transformative for people who have been through a lot of suffering,
Wow.
to be
Okay.
able to connect to that part of themselves that can feel gratitude, can feel okay with themselves. I think a lot of people have always felt that intrinsically they're bad. I know I did, you know,
Yeah.
um, for most of my life, there was this thing within me that, I really struggled with self love, or feeling like keeping people at a distance, because I felt like if they really knew me, they would get close to realizing that I just wasn't good in some way.
Sure.
And I think a lot of us feel that way,
Yeah.
and it's not true.
Right.
It's not true. So to find that, I think, is helpful. I'm sorry. I know that this is like
No,
this is a fun podcast that I'm getting into all this
No,
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 this
no.
is great.
Yeah.
If we weren't intrigued, I think we would interrupt and try and move things on. It is very, like we said, we love talking to interesting people, and
right.
we find this stuff interesting. So
Good.
yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So no, don't worry about that. I mean, but going back to you kind of started them at the same time.
Mhm.
Would you think you would have taken your drumming so seriously and forward had you not done the 10-day thing at this around the same time?
That's a really good question. I think that I was lucky to have an upbringing where I was told that anything that I wanted to do was okay,
Mhm.
just to do it as good as I could.
Yeah.
That was kind of the background that I came from. So,
Well, you've accomplished that. I've
well,
watched you
thank you.
play.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Well, and so I feel like I was always kind of very immature in my idea about life. Like I really just kind of wanted to go where I felt passionate about the thing. And so I don't know if that changed much with the meditation. I think that the meditation is an offshoot of that as well. Like, oh, that sounds like something that I want to try. Drumming, when I took a drum lesson, it was like, I never did that before. Let me try that and see where it takes me.
Okay.
So I think it's actually more that it came from the same impulse that I always had, which was that I didn't have to do anything that that people said I should do. I got to do what I felt passionate about. And so I think I was just looking for that passion. I had been very passionate about writing, um, but I think I got kind of stuck in what it was supposed to look like. And so I started swimming around and not understanding where the passion for it fit in. So I think I was looking for something else to do, and I think I was looking for community too.
Sure.
Honestly,
Okay.
I remember thinking like I really wish that I had an art form that collaborated with other people. Writing is so solitary. It's just me and my brain and a pencil and a piece of paper. And, I used to think, God, it would be so cool to even just be a sculptor because I could listen to the radio while I was doing it,
Yeah.
like just
Yeah.
anything
Oh,
else. And so when music started, I was like, oh, this is kind of awesome because I could not only play with other people, but I could travel.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
so, and
and just
then
be in front of people that appreciate
Yeah.
your
yeah,
playing
connect with
and
people.
connect with
Yeah,
it. Yeah.
connect with people. Yeah. And then when I started taking drum lessons and realized that I just had an affinity for drumming, and it just felt simple to me
Okay.
and that's kind of what I wanted to do. Then I kind of let go of thinking and just kind of went with where it took me.
Yeah. Were you doing anything musical prior to your first drum lesson?
Well, I was, so I had a boyfriend who was a recording engineer.
Hmm.
And
Fun.
I would go and I would sit in the recording studio. He worked at this hip hop studio in New York. And I would go and he would be working on stuff late at night. And I would sit and listen to the music that he was doing, and I would start writing. I started writing lyrics.
Okay.
Just I found it very inspiring to hear music, and then I would write. And then I started thinking, well, maybe I'll sing, because I have lyrics, right? So maybe I'm writing lyrics and songs, so maybe I'll sing. So I sang a few times, and I was very insecure and didn't know myself very well, and that doesn't make for a good singer. Um,
Yeah, singers have a lot of confidence.
Right.
I know,
Maybe a
or they
little
can
arrogant
fake
at
it,
times, but
or
yeah,
they
Steven
can
Tyler
fake it.
loves
Yeah,
himself. Yeah.
yeah.
That I know.
I think every singer loves himself. To your
Or
point,
they don't, and they can put up a good
they
front.
fake
Right,
it.
right.
Yeah, fake it till you
Yeah,
make it.
yeah. It's hard. It's so hard to sit up because everybody thinks they know how to sing, right? Everybody thinks they know a good singer. People can see through very easily, what makes a good performer, what makes for somebody who's being super authentic or non-authentic, somebody who's insecure on stage, somebody who's not. Like we have that radar.
Yeah.
And so a singer who gets up there, I mean, they have to just kind of bear it
Yeah.
or act it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really hard. So anyway, so yeah, that's what I was doing. And then yeah, and then I took a drum lesson, and that was kind of,
So,
yeah.
how long was it
And
between your first drum lesson and actually, hey, I'm going to put a band together?
it was pretty quick because
Sounds like it.
I went to this amazing drum teacher in New York, took private lessons with him, Fred Klatz, and he was writing a book about how to teach drumming.
Okay.
And so he said, okay, you're going to be my guinea pig. I'm going to see how quickly
Perfect.
I can get you to play well, right? Because you don't know
Wow.
anything about drumming, but you have some musical background. So let me see how to do it. So I think in like a year and a half, I think I started playing with people.
Wow.
Did you
And
have
then
a band prior to? Zepparella?
Yeah. So what happened was I was in a couple of bands, and then I uh, this I joined this woman's kind of pop punk band, and that fell apart after just a couple shows. And we were talking and said, "Hey, we really want to play like heavier music." And we got a bass player, and we had a band called Bottom, and it was from New York City. It was three-piece female band.
Okay.
We played stoner rock, and we were together for 8 years. And
wow.
in the year 2000, we played like over 300 shows that year. We gave up our apartments in New York and moved into the van.
Wow.
And every night we played in a different city. We played, went around the country 8 times.
Oh,
Went to
Wow.
Europe, and yeah, it was pretty intense. And
yeah.
then,
So was all
and then
that,
I
was there any
settled
originals in
here.
that, or was that all cover
It's
stuff?
all originals. Yeah,
All
all
originals.
originals. Yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, we have 3 records. And
We're learning new stuff here. It was just
yeah,
Bonham?
yeah. Bottom.
Bottom, like,
Bottom. Bottom. Yeah, if you
got
put
it.
bottom band in, you'll find it.
Like bell
And
bottom,
then, yeah, that's right.
or not butt bottom.
Or both bottom. We were like, well, we're all pretty amply, have are amply endowed. Any name that we give ourselves, people are going to sexualize. So we might as well use like the kind of sexual word that like a grandma would use, right?
Perfect.
And we felt like we were kind of on the lower level of womanhood. We're carrying SVT cabinets, and we're living in a car, and we're, getting our, putting on makeup between like, on mirrors with like a million stickers in the back of a venue, and sleeping at truck stops. So we felt like we were kind of like the dregs. So it made sense.
The
Plus,
name,
we
yeah,
were
the name
playing
made
stoner
made
rock.
sense in a couple different ways.
That's
Yeah.
I
perfect.
know. Yeah, we were playing stoner rock. So it's like big, heavy,
Yeah. Yeah.
hard hitting.
So, yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm just now fascinated with that. As far as the 8 years of touring, there seems to be some books in there or stories that could be put to your page.
Yeah.
This author.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, in my books, I have a book that I wrote kind of using my music career as a metaphor for a spiritual practice. So, I talk about how I came to drumming, and then it's a memoir, and then I talk about that year, what that year was like,
Okay. All right. So yeah,
with
it's
Oh, it's in
Bottom.
there.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's in there. Yeah, yeah, some of that stuff is in there.
Oh, well, good to hear.
yeah. And
Um,
the name of the book
yeah,
is From Bonham to Buddha and Back.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So check it
Yeah,
out.
I did
thank
see,
you.
to everyone out there, if you're like me and you have a hard time sitting down and reading, it is on audio as well.
And you read it.
I read it. Yeah, I read it. It's on Audible. Yeah, I
So
know.
that's where I'm going to get it, is with the audio.
You
Awesome.
you have a
Yeah,
you
I
have a
like it too.
perfect voice for audiobook reading.
I do? Oh,
Yes, it's very
good, good.
soothing. Yeah. Yes,
Oh,
I will
Very
definitely
good.
soothing.
check it out in that format. So
I worked my butt off on doing that stupid audio.
well,
So,
I saw the length that I was looking at it, and I saw the length of it
Yeah.
is over 10 hours. So that's a
yeah.
lot. How long does it take to do that? I mean, obviously it takes
Such
10
a,
hours, but there's got to be some takes where you screw up, and so
I know. I know. I did it. Of course, I'm like, oh, I know how to record. I'll do it myself. And
Mm.
I did it twice, actually. The first time didn't it wasn't good enough. And so then I did it the second time. And then I couldn't figure out how to make it sound good. So I ended up, luckily, I have a dear friend who records like all the music that I've recorded for the past 20 years. And I just gave it to him. I was like, fix it. And he fixed it. So.
Good friend to have.
No
Good
kidding.
friend to
I
have.
know. I know.
We need one of those friends.
No kidding. But touching on what he said, you do, and I agree, with the soothing voice, and your demeanor is very, very sweet and soft.
Huh.
And then you play live. It's the opposite.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
funny, right?
oh,
Yeah.
it's perfect. I mean, it's perfect, So is that therapeutic for you as well, to get to bang those drums, or is it you seem to lose yourself in it? It's
I
to
do.
me.
I do. Yeah. Yeah. Drums are really I don't know. I have a wonderful connection with drumming. And, I think when I was in Bottom and we were playing stoner rock, um, I think we were fueled, and especially playing every single night, doing all of the load in and out. I mean, it was just the three of us, and dealing with all the baloney, and this is in the year 2000, so it was a little bit, it was a little rougher, and I think we got fueled a lot by anger, or just frustration,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and that kind of us versus them feeling.
Yeah.
That's gone from me just in my whole life. And also, um, now I play from joy, I think, more than that. And that's a better fuel, I think.
Yeah.
True.
And joy, and that feeling that I'm creating a moment where we're all connected. I feel very deeply the pain of all of the division, around us. And, I think music has I just love the fact that music is such a connector. I
Yes.
know that people in the audience, my fans, they come from every walk of life, every side of things. And when we're in the room together, we're just humanity lifted up by these waveforms,
Yeah.
of, and Led Zeppelin's music is so wonderful because it's, we all have such intense memories that
Yeah.
are attached.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, people tell me like, oh, my child was born to listening to Led Zeppelin. We got married listening to Led Zeppelin. This woman came to
Conceive
our show,
listening
and
to.
Conceive. Yeah.
yeah, conceived. Lots of people conceived,
Yeah.
right? I
Absolutely.
know. I know. Like these really very happy times.
Yeah.
So
Was there
hopefully.
any doubt or other band that you wanted to go, or was it Zeppelin the whole time?
Well, what happened was when Bottom broke up in 2004, and
They
I think
split.
2000 and
Sorry, I had to. I'm sorry.
there's a crack in the
Yeah,
band.
definitely.
There was a
Um,
crack in the band.
in 2002, I when Bottom wasn't playing, I joined a AC/DC band.
Oh, nice.
And it was the first time, because I learned so late. I never really, I never really learned other people's music. I just started playing, you know,
Yeah,
in Bottom. And so it gave me an opportunity to learn how to learn a song, right?
sure.
And so I was in this band called AC/DC.
Of
And
course.
I know it was really fun. It was awesome. And they were very successful, especially in California. And the guitarist that joined just after I joined is my guitarist in Zepparella now, Gretchen Min.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Phenomenal
so
guitarist.
she is phenomenal.
Yeah.
And yeah, and after 2 years of AC/DC, I was like, man, I really want to play some more. I want to play more often. And she said, I want to play more often too. And I said, well, a couple of years ago, I pitched, Zeppelin to the Bottom Girls to see if we want to do some of that. And they didn't really go for it. And she's like, I want to play Zeppelin. And so I just started the band then.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
nonchalantly,
And
let's just play one of the greatest musicians of all
I
time.
know.
Yeah,
Let's just.
I know.
I was gonna say, now I have to say this. I'm not a musician. I preface this with that I'm not a musician, but it seems like there's a big step in talent level from AC/DC to Led Zeppelin. And that's not to rip on AC/DC. Obviously, they've sold 1 billion records. People love
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
but
yeah,
you're taking a big
yeah.
step.
It took me a lot. Oh my God. I had to work my ass off for that first. I booked a show, like we said, okay, we're going to do it. And then I booked a show like 8 months. Okay, we got 8 months, to get this shit together. And it took me 8 hours a day to make that happen.
Mm.
Now, AC/DC, learning Phil Rudd stuff really did teach me how to swing.
Okay.
AC/DC swings really hard. That's why, they're playing very simple beats and everybody in the stadium is jumping up and down,
Okay.
right?
Sure.
Because
Yep.
of the way that it feels. And so that prepared me to play Bonham, because Bonham has this intrinsic swing that is undeniable.
Okay.
Very unique.
So
Yeah.
yeah, and learning the AC/DC stuff did teach me how to learn, how to slow things down, how to dissect a song, and how to really understand it. But I'm still learning how to play Bonham. I'll never learn. I'll never know it. I mean,
Did,
I'm always learning new
I mean,
things.
did Bonham really know how to play Bonham? But you know what I mean? Like he's so good and so unique that did he even know how to play Bonham? Like it was
And
always creating. Yes.
They improvise a
It,
lot on stage
Right.
from what I
they did,
read.
yeah.
So
And that's why it's so fun to play in Zepparella. It's been around for 20 years now, and it's so fun because we get to kind of make it our own in the middle of, say, Whole Lotta Love or Immigrant Song. There are these places where we get to kind of step out
Yeah.
and become a band within a band.
Yeah. Put your
Yeah,
signature on it a little bit.
so does
that's right.
your,
Yeah.
not to call it a cover, but does the cover band ever do covers of other songs?
Yeah, no, we only do Zeppelin. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What if
I
what if
think the
Zepp
difference between a cover band and a tribute band is a
Well,
cover band is covers and a tribute band is one band.
but
I
what if
think that
Zeppelin covered a
I've
song? Could you
been
play
put in my
that?
place. I've been, yes.
actually many people would say that most of Zeppelin songs are covers,
Sure.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, When the Levee Breaks was written
Right.
by somebody else,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Whole Lotta Love, and they're quite a Dazed and Confused. They've a lot of people would say that they're incredibly derivative. However, really did make it their own. So.
So
Absolutely.
were you
Yeah.
just a big Led Zeppelin fan your whole life? Is that where it came from? Or did you, when you started playing drums, did you go, holy shit, this guy playing for Zeppelin is amazing. This is the music I want to play.
Yeah, I fell in love with Zeppelin when I was maybe, in my, young when I was young, and I was addicted to the radio
Yeah. Yeah.
in Southern California, and
Mm.
Zeppelin was just my favorite.
Okay.
And then so I listened and I recorded Zeppelin A to Z on cassette tapes when
Nice.
they played it over a long weekend, and
Yeah.
so that was the soundtrack of my life until I went
Okay.
to college. And so then when I started playing drums, I listened to Zeppelin. I was like, oh, that's why I liked it so much.
Yeah, there you go.
But when I started playing drums, I thought, well, I would never be able to play Bonham. I mean, that just seemed so far out of reach,
Yeah.
to be able to do that. Um, so yeah, and then I don't know what happened, but I decided I was going to take it on.
How long were you playing before you decided how long into playing did Zepparella come along?
I think probably, let's see, I started playing when I was 27, so I don't know, maybe 8 or 9 years,
Okay.
right?
All right.
Is that right? Yeah, it was, it wasn't like I just, started out immediately doing.
Day one started playing Bonham.
So
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
how fun is it to do you switch up the set list quite a bit? How fun is it to write a set list like for periods of time?
I know, that's a good question. Well, there's these certain songs that we kind of have to do,
True.
right?
True.
We've always ended the set with Whole Lotta Love. And we have to do Immigrant Song. We have to do a bow song because Gretchen plays the violin bow on
oh,
a song. So that's Dazed and Confused is the big one that people know about, but How Many More Times is also one. So we do one of those two in there. We have to do When the Levee Breaks because that was a really big video for us
okay.
to do. And so Zeppelin songs like Whole Lotta Love can be 20 minutes long.
Right.
So, Levee is 12 minutes long. So we almost have an hour with just those four songs when we play a 2 hour
Jeez.
set. So, a lot of it is just, this big battle between wanting to do other stuff and kind of having to do stuff that people really want to hear. Now, we don't do Stairway. Everybody asks that,
I
but
would
we
imagine
decided at the
that gets
beginning, let's
screamed
just
out.
leave. Yeah, let's just leave one to them. Like we're going to leave one song sacred. And
Okay.
so we don't do Stairway, but
Have
everything
you
else is on the table.
Has the band ever just done it privately in practice? Stairway to Heaven?
I haven't. Gretchen did it with she was some online thing during the pandemic.
Okay.
She
Okay.
played Stairway. I think it was maybe, I can't remember if she played that with a drummer or not. But yeah, she did a version of Stairway
So you're
online.
just staying away totally.
I know. And we keep trying, right after the pandemic, we tried to put in some of the acoustic stuff, like Going to
Mm,
California and the Rain song. But, people really want to come for 2 hours and just rock out. And,
Yeah.
it's hard to fit it all in. So that's the big struggle, really, is just how do we squeeze Zeppelin into that amount of time?
Well, no matter what songs you play, somebody's going to miss their favorite, right? I mean, they
sure.
have
I know.
ability, like you're not
I
going to hit them
know.
off. So,
I know. There's 9 songs worth of wonderful songs. So.
So internally, I would imagine each of you have your own favorite songs. You have your staples that you just mentioned. So those
Hmm.
spots you go, oh, who's got the final decision on if there's a buttoning of we want
she
this song tonight.
she started the band.
Well, I'm asking.
Yeah. I mean, we all like if somebody says they really, really want to do a song, like Anna, our singer, has this amazing. She's an amazing harmonica player, and she has a harmonica solo before Bring It On Home.
Okay.
And I don't particularly, I think that Bring It On Home is, for me, it's kind of a throwaway song. Like, I think there are more interesting songs than that one,
Sure.
but the harp solo is so great that that we keep it in. So those are the kind of questions that we have, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want everybody to shine in the band. So.
Yeah.
Oh, obviously, yeah.
Is there a Zeppelin song that you never play that you really wish you, or like, one that you want to get in there at some point?
Okay, so when I started the band, I have a friend who's been playing for 30 years longer than me, and he said, "Listen, Achilles' Last Stand, don't even try it." He said it's given me nightmares. I have never been able to accomplish it. Like, you're gonna like just don't ever even try it. It's gonna make you cry. But and I
Okay.
had that in my head for a long time. But then recently, over the pandemic, I was like, well, that's goofy. I mean, if Bonham did it, I could do some version of it, right? And so I've been working on it. I don't have it yet, but I alerted the girls to the fact that, whatever you guys got to do, what we found is like a hard song for drums is usually easier for guitar and vice versa.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah.
Interesting.
But I think that one is equally challenging for Gretchen because I think she's soloing through the whole damn thing. So,
Mm.
um, but I just alerted her, like, look, I'm working on this, so I do want to try to get that up in the next year or so. So,
Put it on your
um,
radar. I'm going to be
put
asking
it on
about
your
it.
radar. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. We're gonna be working towards it.
I love
Yeah,
it.
So, but with
yeah.
that in mind, what other song was hard to get, but you finally got, and how joyful was that to play it live for the first time?
Yeah, yeah. Let's see. What songs really? Well, I'll tell you, rock and roll is a bear,
Yeah.
Oh,
and
it's
it sounds like okay, it's just a happy little jazz song or a blues song, right? But
no.
that drum, it's really, really challenging. Now, I don't play it like Bonham did in the studio because he did a particular thing where he's on a snare drum that I just don't do live. I don't think he did that live, but he did it on the recording. Um, but the swing of it is hard. It's quick. It's fast. It swings really hard. And it took me a really long time to get rock and roll right. And
The
so
minute
that
you
one
mentioned this
was,
song, I went, "Yep." I never until this
yeah,
moment just always enjoyed it
yeah,
and loved it, the drums of it. But now the minute you said, it, I'm like, yeah, I can see that being. I
yeah,
understand. I
yeah,
understand.
yeah. It's a challenge. It's a challenge. Cashmere's a funny one because we've had several people say, horn players or other guitar players, piano players have said, "Oh, I'm going to sit in with you," and I'll sit in on Kashmir, and every single person who's ever sat in with us on Kashmir has screwed up the form. There's always
Mm.
been a train wreck. So Kashmir is a deceptively difficult song, just as far as knowing where the parts are.
Yeah.
People go into the wrong parts. And then let's see, Levy is just a joy to play. I love playing that song. Dazed and Confused is really fun because there's a push and a pull of time. You know, there's
Oh
the
yeah.
the slow part, and then you go into that big fast guitar solo part, the really double time part, and then it comes out into that big drum fill, and then it slows back down to where it started.
Yeah.
I love that about music in the 60s and 70s that, you know, the Stones are always pushing and pulling the tempo. And so Dazed and Confused really is perfect for
Okay.
that.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love
I'll
it.
have to
Yeah.
look for that one.
I'm going to be listening to Led Zeppelin differently now. Like some of these songs, you know, that you just,
Take for granted.
you know, you love but yeah, I don't pay enough attention
Yeah.
to, you know, so.
So I am trying.
Well,
I was searching this afternoon on YouTube, and maybe it's not out there. To find Moby Dick, on YouTube, but do you know if it's
oh
out there?
God.
Oh,
I'm sure. I never watch the videos.
oh.
I'm sure there's something. You know, Moby Dick is just it's like I fought doing it for a really long time because,
Okay.
you know, what I love about drumming is the connection between the other instruments, the connection between the audience, right? Like
Okay.
the whole chops thing, you know, well, for one thing, wasn't 14 years old, so I didn't have the opportunity to sit in a room for hours and days on end, just like, you know, working out my chops. So I don't have the greatest chops for one thing. But the second thing is drums by themselves, a drum solo, it's never done anything for me really.
Oh, really?
Well, that's so
Yeah, it's not
you go
like
to the bathroom during drum solos at
yeah,
concerts.
I appreciate it, you know, and I think, wow, you're awesome. You know, Neil Peart's drum solo. I mean, now I super appreciate it and stuff, but I don't know. It's just I want drums to be a part of the music, you know.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
so it took me a long time to agree to do it, and then they were like, well, you have to do it. So and and then I thought, well, I don't want to copy Bonham's solo, which I think was probably a bit of a mistake. It would have been a lot easier if I had just learned the solo, but I just felt like a drum solo is an expression of the drummer.
Hmm.
And that is the place where I should do Clementine. You know, I can play the riff of it, but then I have to go into my own drum solo.
Okay.
And my own drum solo is bullshit. It's never been what I want it to be, you know. I try my hardest. I try to be as free as possible. I try to work really hard on the chops that go into it. But when the solo starts, I want to just be free to express what I'm feeling. And I feel like I never get there. So
Hmm.
I'm always woodshedding it. I'm always trying to make it better, and I'm never happy with it.
The
So
never-ending journey there,
That's right.
it is.
Someday you'll hit
It
it and
is.
it'll be like, that's the one. That's the
and I'm
one.
never going to do it again.
Right?
I
Retire
I know.
that one.
I know. Well, and the hard part about it too is that, you know, you learn as a musician that you play a show and you mess up in the show, right? And you
Sure.
feel like, oh, for whatever reason, you didn't have a good show, you didn't play well. After the show, when somebody comes to you and says, oh man, I really loved the show, you were great, you can't say, actually, I sucked.
Right.
Right. You can't.
Because
Yeah.
now you've negated that person's experience
Yeah.
of their experience. So you have to be gracious and say thank you so much. So that it's really hard for me to do that at the end of Moby Dick,
Mm. Okay.
but I keep
and
working on
and
it.
nobody knows it. You know,
Yeah,
no, most of the audience doesn't know any mess ups.
That's right.
They can't pick them
that's right.
out. They're just enjoying it, and they're enjoying however freely you're doing your solo. So, but
That's right.
as a
That's
perfectionist,
right.
as it sounds, you are. It must be hard.
It's hard. Yeah, that's hard.
But
But you
your
know, I keep trying. So I try to be nice to myself.
but your messed up night, as you put it, brought joy
Mhm.
to someone else. Tons of
That's
people.
right.
So
That's right. So it's really not about me, is it? Like that's the big lesson.
yeah.
It's really about what the drums are communicating to the people. And I have to get myself out of the way. That's what I have to do in my drum solo. I have to think it's not Clementine's drum solo. It's like, what do the drums want to say? Maybe that'll be a better way to go.
Ah,
There you
I
go.
like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully that works for you.
So let's put you on the spot a little bit.
Oh, good. Okay. Do it. Do it.
Top 3 drummers of all time.
Top 3 drummers of all time. Okay. Well, I think, let's see. Well, I have to say Bonham.
Yeah.
I'm
I was going to
legally
say leaving
obligated.
Bonham out because he's number one, obviously.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm kind of legally obligated to say Bonham. Plus, I kind of feel like I would say he is. So,
along with a lot of people.
Yeah.
yeah. I think, of course, Neil Peart. I mean, he's a maestro.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love Steve Gadd.
Okay.
I think that he's just so incredibly tasty, and yeah, he's pretty magic. And then, gosh, there's just so many who I love. It's really, really hard. I'm not even going to rank them. I'm just going to kind of list some.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fair
enough.
So, I love Mitch Mitchell. I think that he was really phenomenal. Dale Crover from the Melvins is probably my biggest influence as someone who I've seen more times than any other drummer. And every time I saw him play, a little screw opened up in my brain and something changed the next time I went to sit down at the drums. So,
okay.
Magical.
Yeah, I would definitely say Dale Crover. And then, I really love, I can't remember his name, but I feel like the drummer who got the closest to Bonham that I've ever seen is the drummer from the Black Crowes. And I'm blanking on his name.
Yeah.
But I saw him do that thing with
is-
Jimmy Page.
Oh, yeah. Is he the brother of
Chris Robinson?
No.
No, the brother plays
No.
guitar.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought it would have half the name.
You would have, you'd have been halfway home. Yeah.
Yeah, but when I saw him play Bonham, I was like, he gets it more than anybody else. Because the funny thing about playing Bonham is there are some people who really spotlight like the power, and some people spotlight the precision.
Yeah.
And some people spotlight the kind of the funkiness, and some people spotlight the jazziness. And the cool thing is they're all correct.
Right? Yep. Yeah, I know. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's that weird intrinsic feel about the placement of the notes, like the timing, the feel. That's all there is to it. Where it's like he's kind of back in time, and yet it also feels exactly right. And I feel like that drummer got it closest. Yeah.
Okay.
What is the
amazing?
What's the last new music that you can remember enjoying? I mean, is there anything that comes out today that you listen to, or like, because I'm 51 and music stopped kind of entertaining me about 5 years ago. In the last 5 years, now I find myself going backward when I want to listen to music. I don't, so is there still bands coming out that year that you enjoy? And
yeah, I mean, I do kind of check out what people are doing. I just listened to an Olivia Rodrigo album I thought was pretty great. And Billie Eilish, I like what she does a lot. And I just heard the new Jack White album, which I'm gonna get to see him this week, so I'm really excited. I love everything he does.
Me too.
Yeah,
this guy's a genius. Everything he touches is
so interesting. It's so great. And I just I love the sound of his records. I love the people he plays with. And so I think I get to see him this week. I'm very excited about that.
Do you have the Lazaretto album, the one on vinyl?
No, I don't think so.
You have to play it backward for it to play correctly. It's weird.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I can't. I'm trying to think. I haven't.
He always did stuff like that.
Yeah, you have to something about it. You have to play backward or something. I'm gonna have to go home and throw it on the record player to remember exactly. I know there's something.
You can listen to it the right way. but the real way to.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's something.
I
So-
don't know what he's talking about, but
Wow.
okay.
Okay. I'm gonna
Yeah.
check. I'm gonna ask my husband. He's really the curator of my music because he's such a vinyl collector.
Yeah.
I'll go ask him about
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's really cool.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
don't judge all your music just by the drummer.
Oh no, no, no. I'm a singer and songwriter as well. Like I have my own, music that I create. So I'm really into lyrics. I really love lyrics.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that opens me up for all different kinds of music.
Yeah,
Tom
for sure.
Waits is one of my very favorites, and
That makes sense. Yeah.
I love lots of stuff.
So yeah, I was looking at some of your solo stuff, which been a little bit since you brought anything out. So have you got any thought of recording anything for yourself soon?
Well, what happened was I changed my name. So I took all of my music off the internet,
Oh,
I think
okay.
except for one project. And now
Yeah.
I'm going to re-release stuff under my name. It's just a long, boring story. But anyway,
Okay, so more to come.
yeah, and I just completed. I have one album that's completed that I did with the guitarist Daniele Guittardo,
Okay.
and so that's all done and ready to come out. And then I just finished like last week another album that I think I'm going to release first, and that is with me, a bass player and a piano player, and that goes in for mastering at the end of this month. So I have these
Exciting.
2 albums that are about to come out first, and then I'll re-release some of the older stuff. But yeah, I have a lot of stuff kind of in the
Okay.
hopper.
That's
Yeah, I
awesome.
think I only saw a few things, but I got to say that I was listening to one of the albums, but it was more of an EP.
Was it? Oh,
that
is
was on
it Solid?
Spotify.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That's where I was playing drums. So yeah, that was a fun album. Yeah.
Oh, so that wasn't you singing in?
In the Solid,
Was it Solid?
was
The
it a
song
vocal?
was Sish.
Shish.
Shish. Water it. SISH. Sish.
It might. I don't know. Somebody had hacked my YouTube. Maybe you're listening, and
It
put
was on
somebody
Spotify.
else's.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
let's not dwell on it.
okay. See, this is why I changed. This is why I used to have only one name,
Okay.
and so
Yes.
Clementine comes up as is really hard because I started getting confused with all these other Clementines. And so I took my husband's last name, Moss. So now it's Clementine Moss. So that's why the confusion. So
Okay.
you could be listening to something else. That's not mine.
Good job. Well done.
Yeah.
He's like, I really like that one.
Well,
I know. Well,
I was gonna quote a
good for
line
that
that I really
one.
thought was neat, and I'm not
Good for that.
giving you some
Clementine.
credit for a
Oh,
creative
darn.
lyric.
I wish it was mine.
It sucked. I was just kidding. I was gonna make fun of it. That was dumb.
So does how far do you guys travel with Zepparella? Do you guys travel around the country?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wisconsin.
Yeah. We
Oh.
played in Green Bay this year.
Did you? Okay. All right.
Yeah. Mhm.
We're gonna have to look out for that because I would love to go. see it.
Probably in Green. Oh, probably at Epic or something in
Maybe.
Midland.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where do we play? Here, I'll tell you where we
Okay.
play.
Yeah.
Let's
play-
see. I'll look it up.
Definitely would. We'll come see it anywhere in the area.
Yeah, for
Or-
sure.
I would love it. I would love it if you guys came.
Green Bay,
to the show.
Milwaukee, Madison, Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see.
Would definitely ever get back in this area. Well, now that we're
Green Bay Distillery.
Oh, nice. Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, that was
100% would have went.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right up by the stadium.
Yeah.
Shoot. Okay. Well, now that we're following and getting notifications, we'll definitely keep notice of that.
She's like, yeah, I was
Awesome,
just
yeah.
there last week, idiot.
No, you guys. Yeah, if you see us coming, reach out and I'll put you on the guest list.
Thank you. Yes, we will definitely do
Yeah.
that. We would love to see you guys play for sure.
It'd be
You guys
great.
just had a couple shows this past weekend, huh? How did those go?
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Yeah,
Up in
yeah.
Northern California, yeah.
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 We came out to Northern California. We were out there for Dave Matthews Band. We were in Mountain View?
Mountain View. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And then we-
at
and then we
the
hopped the-
winery.
Yeah, and then hopped a flight down to LA and saw him at the Hollywood Bowl. This was back in 2018. So
How fun!
yeah.
Oh,
So,
that's really fun.
Yeah.
Oh,
So-
cool.
So go ahead.
no, I just had to say Carter Beauford, the drummer of Dave Matthews Band, is one of my favorites. So
He's remarkable.
yeah,
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 he's really, really, and he plays with a lot of joy.
yeah.
Yeah.
He does.
He
That's
does. You're
always
right.
got the smile on his face. It's one of the biggest selling points of the band. I tell people that, and they're like, "The drummer smiles a lot, and that's why you like him." You can't help not. When you see them live and you see his smile, you're just like, "This is the best thing ever."
Yeah, it's the best thing ever, right? I know. I
Yep.
Yeah,
know.
I'm with you.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, they have to experience it. But anyways, they're lost. Who doesn't want to go?
Yeah.
Um, so in your journeys, did you ever get to meet John's son?
I they played in San Francisco right when he started that project, and I went um and we talked to one of his the people who are working his show, and they're like, "Oh, he would love to meet you guys." And by the time I heard that, I was so drunk. Like was
Been
really
there.
fucked. I was really fucked up, which, I don't, it doesn't really happen that much anymore. But at that moment, I was like, I can't imagine I'm going to be just such a dumbass. And so I said that I didn't want to meet him. So I feel bad about that.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's all right.
So you chickened out, is what you're saying.
I didn't want to. I didn't want the first time I met him to be this, like,
Yeah.
who I was in that moment. Let's just say that. Yeah.
You're the best. I love you.
I know.
I know.
Anytime you ever meet somebody like that, I'm always like, God, I don't want to come across like an idiot, but you can't help it. You're like, just
He gets it.
yeah. Like when we met the keyboard player from Dave Matthews Band, Buddy Strong, actually out in California. And
Yeah.
I just remember that meeting going, I feel like I was the biggest dork ever. Like, just like, what are you gonna do?
I know. I know.
So-
Most of the time, people are super gracious.
Yeah.
So.
So when you guys come to Wisconsin and we get to meet you, we'll be acting like the biggest
We're gonna be
dorks.
idiots.
I guarantee
We're gonna be
it.
idiots. What about other members of Zeppelin? You ever get a chance to? I think you did meet some of the original
Yeah, I
members.
met Robert Plant.
Nice.
And he was super, super nice and gracious. And the first thing he said was, "Okay, who's the drummer? Like, I bet you want Bonham stories, right?"
Wow.
So he was really wonderful. And I made eye contact with John Paul Jones one time walking, and we exchanged a moment, and then that was enough for me. I didn't need to meet him.
After that, okay. The forgotten.
Yeah, so,
He doesn't get
yeah.
enough credit, but he's kind of
He's
overshadowed by
amazing.
everybody else.
I knew
Yeah, I
exactly
saw
who
him
he
with
was, though.
I saw him with them Crooked Vultures. And,
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
yeah, he was fantastic. Yeah.
I did get to see Robert Plant open for the Who years ago.
Oh,
So I did get to see Robert live, which was on my bucket list, just to hear his singing live.
Yeah.
He did a lot of his solo stuff, which was great. Just hearing him live was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
He's great. Yeah, he's really great. Yeah. Yeah.
Did he? What any good stories, Bonham stories? Did he tell you?
Nothing that I hadn't heard.
Oh, oh, okay. Like,
That's okay. It was all right. It was really nice of him to make that effort. Yeah.
okay.
You're like,
Yes.
wait, I could probably tell you Bonham stories. You probably don't remember most of them, and I've read about him. So
Yeah,
Wow.
right.
That is he has, and we've had the conversation. What's the greatest front man out there? And he's up there. He's got to be up. He's up there as one of the greatest front men.
Still,
Yeah.
and the thing I love about Robert Plant is that he has always been so forward looking. He keeps creating new things. And
Yeah.
I think that that's really the mark of a great musician, and he loves music.
Yeah.
He's like an encyclopedic knowledge of music.
Okay.
He still listens to music, and that's really, really neat.
Well, and I forget her name, but he's collaborating with these younger
Alison
people.
Krauss, yeah.
Yes. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
I mean, where'd that come? He could be
Yeah,
doing
I
anything,
know.
and that's what
Yeah.
he chooses to do, which
I
I think
know.
is neat.
I know. I really love that too.
yeah, absolutely.
So, any other influences for you?
Other influences,
It
as
doesn't
far
have to
as
be drummers, but any other musicians that are just the big influence in you.
yeah, well, I love Patti Smith, of course. I love her connection with lyrics and message and art. I just find I like really artistic people, and so her, Dylan, of course, is a lyricist and performer. I love, yeah, I love the great songwriters. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I loved Elton John a lot when I was a kid.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's fun.
I remember having, yeah, in the 80s. I mean, I grew up in the 80s, so I was into the, the glam metal and stuff. And but I bought the Elton John box set. I can remember buying that, and my friends going, "What are you buying that for? What are you it's
Sure.
good
Because it's
music. What is
because
wrong with
it's
you?"
magic.
So
Because it's good. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 I wish that's that. He's
Yeah.
definitely about. I wish I would have seen him live, but
He was too expensive the last time
it
for
was a little
me.
pricey for that last show.
I know my parents always went to see him, but I never saw him.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. My mom's seen him several times.
Okay,
nice,
good for her.
nice.
So she was obviously
Yeah.
into music.
Yeah. My dad was a big music lover. Stones were his favorite. They always went to see the Stones.
Yeah, nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
One.
Yeah.
So I just want to touch one thing I see behind you, a movie poster.
And it's always there in all the podcasts. I've noticed that.
So is that
Barbara Streisand.
Yeah.
It's Babs. I love Babs.
okay? So
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was you love movies, you love that movie because it's a musical, or you just love her in movies.
I love the music, and I love Barbara Streisand.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I watched those movies like What's Up, Dog,
Yeah.
and
What about
Funny
what's
Girl, and I
for
just
Pete's
always
sake?
thought that for Pete's sake, and I just thought that she was just like fast talking and cool, and then she had that amazing voice, and she was unusual looking, and she owned it, and I don't know, I always loved her.
Yeah.
So
My mom did too. So I grew up
yeah.
with hearing her in the background going,
Yeah.
what? But I've got probably 8 or 9 of her movies just because of the old 70s movies, the ones everything you just
Yeah.
mentioned I have because they're fun.
They're
They're just
great.
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're really fun. I even like the boxing one. What was that one
The
with
main
what's his
event.
name?
Yeah.
Yeah, the main event. Yeah, I know. I know. I love them.
As bad as it was, it's still like one of those
I know.
So
I
bad it's
know.
good.
yeah, just fun. Yeah, just pop it in and not care.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fun to look at those old movies. It's like, I don't know, I feel like it's almost like I was watching a movie from like the oh no, I know what it was. I was listening to a band from the 90s. I can't think of who it is. But I was telling Tim, like, wow, it's like somehow in this music, I feel like this wistful feeling of what it was like before, like 9/11. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like, I feel like things shifted
Yeah.
then, and this felt like upbeat and positive in this particular kind of way. I don't
Sure.
know, that got lost a
Yeah.
little bit. So, yeah.
That's the great, like you said earlier, the great thing about music. It brings you to those places, and
That's right.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
I can stamp my
Yeah.
life through music.
Absolutely. Right. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Every
Uh-huh.
good memory has good music to it, doesn't it?
It
It
does.
does.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
So you lied at the beginning. You are a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
Oh, thanks.
So I don't know
Thanks
what
for
you were
saying
worried
that.
about.
absolutely. Right.
I think we both agree we would keep you all night talking music if we thought you wanted to talk music with us all night. But
Thank
yeah, we
you.
are both music lovers. So anytime you want to come back on and promote stuff you got coming out, or when you're going to be in the
Absolutely.
area, we can
Oh,
maybe do it in person and
Oh, I'd love
yeah.
yeah,
that.
we would
I'd
come.
love
Yeah.
that.
So yeah,
Yeah.
tell people where to find you and one more time where to get the book.
Oh, sure. If you go to clemthegreat.com, that's where all my stuff is there. And you can get the book there. You can get it on Amazon as well. It's called From Bonham to Buddha and Back. And it's kind of, people have told me it's kind of fun because there are 10 Zeppelin songs that I kind of dive into a little bit.
Okay.
People say that they like to listen to Zeppelin while they're reading the book.
There you
So,
go.
yeah,
It's a Zeppelin companion.
it's a Zeppelin companion a
I
little
like it.
bit. Yeah.
Well, like I said, I'm excited. I already have it in to get the audio, and love to listen to it. And I need to ask one question before we let you go
Yeah.
to get your thoughts on the matter, because I'm a huge Who fan, and
Oh
I
gosh,
love,
yeah.
you don't want me to ask you, is he a genius or was he sloppy?
No, no, he was both. He was both.
Perfect.
And the magic is between him and John Entwistle.
Right. Thank you.
Right? I mean, the
Thank you.
two of them together is what makes the absolute explosion. Now, I think that when you think about somebody who is playing from joy, he's the epitome of that, right? And I think that he had a particular voice. Like, I don't think other people played drums, not even if you're not even looking at him, but just listening. It's like what he played is so unusual. And so to have a singular voice as any musician or any artist, I think is really special. So no, he's magic. Yeah, I'm with you.
You
And but I also think for all his sloppiness, it's Entwistle who's pulling him into alignment,
Yeah.
So the two of them together, I think, they're both great, and then the two together, it's like an explosion.
Magical rhythm
Yeah.
section. Absolutely. They were both kind of, he was like a lead drummer. I mean, he played it
Yeah.
like lead.
Yeah.
So
He did.
I like what
Yeah.
you said. Yeah. And Whistle pulled him in. So
Yeah.
you are now his favorite guest of all time.
100%.
So I want you to
100%. 100%.
Well, anybody who loves Keith Moon is okay in my book. So there you go.
He's my,
You'll be like, is she back on next week?
we could just have a Keith Moon hour.
Hey, I would be down for like having you on to do that, to talk just about one drummer. Let's get together and talk about one drummer in particular. That could be fun.
I don't know if I'm that good at that.
Wow.
All right.
I can never remember anybody's name. I never know what record anybody's on, I'm not really
I don't either.
that kind of guy, but
yeah, I don't either. That's what I said to him before we started. I'm like, name me some of the good Led Zeppelin songs, because I don't remember titles. I'm just like, I know the song,
yeah.
but I don't know what it's called.
Well, people ask me, what record is that on? And I'm like, I don't know. I had it in alphabetical order. Like
That's right. You had him. For me, it's 14.
That's in the R's. Thank you so much, Clementine, and also our first Clementine ever on the podcast. It's a beautiful name.
Thank you. Awesome. Great. Well, thank you guys so much. I had such a fun time with you.
Good.
Awesome.
Have a great night.
Thank you so much.
Okay. See you later.
All right.
Bye.
Night.
Thank you for listening. The tavern is closed for now, but we'd love to have you back for more fun next time. Seriously though, get your asses out of here.